Welcome to the August 2023 SouthSeas Owner Informational Call. During this call, we will cover the following topics: an operations update, sales and marketing, owner relations update, a real estate update, and a SouthSeas build back and future amenities. As a reminder, this meeting is being recorded. A link to the recording will be made available within 48 hours. All participants are muted for this presentation. We also ask that you turn off your video during this call. At the conclusion of the presentation, we will review the previously submitted questions. Again, thank you for taking the time to join us today. I'd like to introduce Greg Spencer, who will start us off. Greg?
Thanks, Bob. Appreciate it. Hi, everyone. Thank you for making the time to meet with us today. By way of introduction, Greg Spencer. I'm the president of the SouthSeas Ownership Group. I'm also the CEO of Timbers Company. So as Bob kind of alluded to, we're going to start having these meetings on a monthly basis. If people can't make these meetings, we'll post them online so they can look at them at a later date. And really, it's an opportunity for us to communicate directly to all the owners at SouthSeas and not have it filtered or, kind of cut back with the form we were using with the presence of the association. So at any rate, just to jump into it, next page, please. As we kind of talked about resort update, normally Sean Farrell would be giving that update. I'm very pleased to mention that we have 6 of our resort operations folks that are hopefully receiving an award this morning for all their post-Hurricane Ian cleanup. So it's Chris Hugh, David Foster, it's Charles Martz, it's and several folks on their team for frankly all the work they did after the hurricane. We hope that they win it because they're 100% deserving. Those folks I mentioned literally worked for 45 days straight without a day off after the hurricane and busted their tail to try to get the resort kind of back up and operational. So we think they're befitting. Hopefully they bring home the bacon today. Next page. So resort operations update, again, normally Sean will be giving this. Next page. So we're really starting to try to shift to being able to get reopened. So we do have a handful of units reopened. We have a marina reopened. We'll be adding more and more units as the months go by. So we are implementing some of our new operational approaches that frankly we were going to do before the storm hit. So just to touch on those, we are basically upgrading our gate controllers. We're upgrading RFID readers. Those are happening around the resort. To get into the different amenities in the future, you'll actually tap in with a RFID. You won't have the plastic thing anymore. So you can take it off and go to take a shower, put it back on. Now it will have, technology features where we can see if someone tosses it over the fence to their friend, you got to check in and check out, or else it'll be inoperable. But we are starting to move and upgrade the technology across the resort. That goes to the guest check-in. We are going to go to a remote check-in where people can check in remotely. You'll get your key at the gate. When you get to your unit, you'll have the RFID bands for the number of guests that you say that you'll have. And, that's a great feature that we're excited about. You also will be able to get access to your room via your phone as opposed to just the key. So that's some of the technology upgrades that we're implementing. We are going to have a check-in lobby temporarily. I'll show you where the new one will be if you have a problem in the future, but we're using the previous K. Kasperson Spa, so Kasperson Spa, so that will be adjacent to Starbucks. We lost all of our resort support function buildings, so temporarily we have a lot of our resort staff working out of Chadwick's. We're working on getting them relocated. We will be building a couple of new structures for them, but in the interim, that's where you can go for check-in. We have hired a new resort controller. We're going to get the owner statement starting to go out on a timely basis. We had to rehire most of the accounting team just because some folks just couldn't wait for the resort to reopen. Temporary property signage, that will be coming in the coming weeks. Resort signage is a big issue. We literally have 1,500 signs that we need to replace. And I know some people will say, well, how's there's 1,500 signs? There's do not enter signs, there's wayfinding signs. There's just a lot of things that were all destroyed during the hurricane. So we'll get the first batch of temporary signs, and then we'll start rolling out the new signage in the future, but we at least need to get some wayfinding signage going. And then the last point on this page, we're very excited about the fact that we're moving to all electric golf carts. So we're taking over the golf cart rental that will rent through the resort. The golf carts will all be electric. We'll be getting a whole new fleet. The great thing about that is it will allow us to do geofencing so we can control where carts go. Also, I know people love to give their kids the opportunity for freedom, but we've just seen some dangerous situations with, 8, 9-year-olds driving carts with, carts full of kids. We'll be able to actually disable the carts if we see that from our security team and, hopefully provide a little bit of safety there. Next page. Engineering, we are adding to the engineering team. We're slowly building them back, so we're excited to start getting that team rebuilt back. We've had engineering there the whole time, but just starting to get that team built out is important. And then what we're doing specifically is there will be a person on Marina's owner relations team that will help people when they have repairs, when they need to do renovation work in the future, etc. We're going to have someone that can help coordinate that. We're not going to do the work per se, but they'll have contacts with Speedy Repair and Noel Painting, etc. And we'll be able to make those kind of introductions and try to help coordinate access on behalf of the owners. The Bayview Fishing Pier, I've seen the blowback on Facebook. If you want to call it T-Dock, knock yourself out. But we're trying to rebrand it for hotel guests. But the Bayview Fishing Pier construction is complete. Keep in mind, we're still using that area as laydown for the Bayview pool to get rebuilt. So it's just not safe right now. But when we do have that work done, we'll be able to open that back up. So, and there's still some connectivity that we have to do. A lot of the sidewalk and infrastructure was wiped out there, so we still have to connect some power and a couple other things. But as soon as we get that up, we'll try to get that open. The slide pool, we are hopeful that we can get it by next Friday. We did repair the slides. Several slides were destroyed. We've gotten that redone. We're actually putting fencing up so we can close that out at night from a security perspective. There's some things that got triggered by building it back that we had to comply with. So if we can get our final inspections from the county, we'll have it open by next Friday. If not, it might lag a couple days, but we're really pushing hard to get that kind of slide pool reopened so we at least have some body of water open for guests. Beach offering, we have resort chairs set up daily. We have umbrella service at Sunset Beach. We've cleaned that up. There still is construction fencing. We got the bathrooms back operable there, so that is functional today, so people can use that. We've set up the east lawn for some guest activities. We have a chipping and putting green. We have frisbee golf, a couple other things set up there, and hopefully we'll be able to get more open as the months go by. And, we also are starting to do kind of s'mores nightly at Harborside. So, we're starting to get the team hired back. We're starting to try to add back some programming. You'll just see that start to ramp up month to month. And next month, I'm sure Sean will have more updates of what's coming in the future. Next page. So F&B, all of our restaurants did get destroyed. So we're in the process of building them back or heavily damaged, I should say. So we do have 2 food trucks. One is the Shell City Burgers that's parked at Chadwick's right now. It's open daily from 11 to 5:30 p.m. And then out at Sunset, we do have Island Tacos. It's open Friday through Sunday from 11 a.m. to 5:30. And then basically, as we start to get more business levels back, we'll start keeping those open longer and later. So we're excited about that. I've been eating out of the Shell City Burger, so it's pretty tasty, and we're excited just to get some F&B back. Of course, we have Starbucks open, so Starbucks has some food, but we knew we needed to do something temporarily until we could get our restaurants back online. Next page. Marketing update. I'll turn it over to Verdell.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Verdell Eckberg, Director of Sales and Marketing. I'll run through this really quick, but we're very excited. We just started or reinitiated our digital marketing campaigns and our email campaigns. We have this year, just based on the limited number of rooms, we put $200,000 just into digital alone to start building up. So as we go into season, when we have the majority of our rooms back open, though we're ready for high season. Traditionally, we would spend on digital alone about $700,000 a year. So it's a big spend to help market the resort, the destination. We work very closely with the Lee County VCB on some of these items, as well as Visit Florida. So we're really excited to get that up and running. And then our emails to our past guests are starting to go out now with offers and specials for the fall, and we'll have some more as we go into season, that type of thing, to help fill your unit. So we just want to make sure we're ahead of the game as we move forward. We continue to leverage our social media, both our organic social media, which is our normal post, but also our paid social media that we market with. We'll continue to update with imagery as we get it of the golf course, of the pool as it becomes closer to completion. As of the tee dock, we just did one the other day of a time lapse of the tee dock, which is now the Bayview Fishing Pier, which has really gotten a lot of positive comments. So we'll continue to do that. We'll continue to post them on the website. Some more to come. Just keep an eye on social media, and we'll keep you guys updated as much as possible. We, in terms of the branding, Greg touched on the signage. Part of that is going to be on the construction fencing throughout the resort. We're going to actually put some marketing advertising up on that just says, welcome to the next chapter. It's just really to let people know more is coming, and kind of hide some of the construction through the fencing as well. David, next page. We continue to, and Bob, I think, brought this up earlier, as we do these things, these meetings, and as we change things, just keep an eye on our website. We'll continue to update it, be it hours, items that are open, to things that we're doing on property. So if you just keep an eye on the website, either on the community side of it or on the main page, we'll keep that completely updated. So if you have questions, you can go there first and see what's happening. If not, obviously we're always available. We're excited this year for the since it's beginning. We will be the kickoff and hosting the Island Hoppers this year. So it'll be either in Chadwick Square or over by the conference center. We're still working out the best location for it, but it's scheduled for September 22nd. So we hope we get a lot of community out. We can come and see what's going on and have some great entertainment. So we're really happy to be a part of the Lee County VCB and a partner on that. And then lastly, for us, we host our first wedding in groups in January. As we kind of grow into this, we're going to have many more weddings. I'm sure many of you know, we host hundreds of weddings, thousands and thousands of weddings over the years. And we really want to kick that up a notch and really increase, the number of weddings, the service, and what people experience while they're here at that wedding. People have so many memories. We get messages all the time on social media about people who've gotten married here over the years. And we really just want to keep that going and make it, twice as good as it was before. So thank you. And I look forward to working with each of you as we move forward.
Thanks, Verdell. Yeah, and I know we have a couple other events that we're getting dialed in right now. We are going to do a fishing tournament in May. We Timbers have a corporate philanthropy with Folds of Honor. I'm good friends with the founder of Folds of Honor. And effectively what we're going to do is we're going to do a fishing tournament. It's going to raise money for fallen soldiers' family members. 100% of the money goes towards scholarships. So we're excited about that. We do a golf event with them out in Kauai. We're going to do a fishing and golf event with them here. And all the scholarship recipients are local to the Fort Myers area. So we're excited about that. That should be a fun event. So we're going to get some more information forthcoming. We're going to have Captain Mike Anderson from Real Animals. He's going to participate with it too. We're going to try to see if we can do some film production there. But it's a really great organization that we're happy to be a part of. I'm from the military. I had some friends pass away, and their kids have benefited from these scholarships, and I think it's just a great thing to do. So more to come on that. Marina, we'll turn it over to you.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Marina, Director of Owner Relations. First and foremost, of course, thank you for being here this morning, and thank you for working so hard with us together through this aftermath from Hurricane Ian and getting your units ready for rental. As most of you know, we did open 13 units in mid-July, which mainly are located in the Gulf Beach villas, as well as golf cottages and private homes. We are now at 16 units and planning on having more inventory coming in by October to 48, and then hopefully towards the end of the year closer to 100. To offer a safe and enjoyable environment for our guests, we are working closely with your HOA to add any additional units to that inventory based on the building construction plans that as they are being completed. To get your units ready after the restoration or any renovations that you are all doing at the moment, we are scheduling a preventive maintenance with our engineering team and a full deep clean with our housekeeping team to get a guest ready. Final construction plan for the Ian restoration units. We're working towards rolling all of the final plans out. Furniture has been ordered, which is wonderful, and we are going to share this individually with the owners that have signed up for the Ian restoration project. Happy to announce that we are adding to our owner relations team. As Greg mentioned already, we will have a renovation project manager on site with us that will help us between engineering and you as owners, as well as us owner relations, to coordinate all the renovations and upgrades in the unit. And if you need something, we're here. Please feel free to call anytime your property manager, Emily or Jalissa, or myself. Thank you so much. Back to Greg.
Yeah, thank you, Marina. And, I do want to point out when we first took over the project, it was Marina and one other person in owner relations. And we had staffed that up pre-storm to 6 people. We are going to continually make a commitment in owner relations that impacts you as owners to make sure from a rental perspective, you have someone that's coordinating your rentals, that's really kind of being your advocate. I'm a firm believer in that. And Marina's done a great job going through all the units and trying to work through all this in the hurricane, and we've been trying to add staff as we start to try to ramp up. So thank you, Marina, for all of your efforts post-hurricane as well. I know you were out here daily on top of trying to manage 3 kids going to school. So thanks so much for that, Marina.
Thank you.
Michael, we'll turn it over to you.
Hey, everybody. For those of you that I haven't met, my name is Michael O'Donnell. I am head of real estate here at SouthSeas. I work with our longtime agents, Marty Stokes and Joni Stokes. And next slide, please, David. What a crazy year it's been, of course. But I'm very happy to say that, after an event like this, sometimes we think that maybe there's going to be fire sales and people are going to cut and run and leave and just leave the mess behind. But we haven't seen that. It's been slower as far as the number of closings. And I think that's attributed to the fact that the resort's basically been closed. There's been nobody here. Occasionally we have people that buy real estate sight unseen, but most people like to walk in it and kick the tires. So as the resort comes back alive, we expect to see the number of closings, elevate steadily to pre-storm levels. And there just really hasn't been a bunch of fire sales. Obviously, pricing reflects, upgrades. If a condo needs a couple $100,000 of upgrades to come to the new resort standards, that's reflected in sales price. Or hurricane damage that needs to be mitigated and redone, that's reflected in a price. But, the market is pretty strong, all things considered. We see a lot of sales or people that already own it, SouthSeas, are buying a second, a third, or even a 4th property here. It's wonderful to see that. We're looking forward to the future. One of these days, we'll figure out what Timbers is going to build going forward. I'm very happy to say that for 16 years, I've represented Timbers. I've sold their properties in Colorado and in South Carolina. I've met hundreds of our owners over the years, and I've been to 14 of the 16 Timbers properties around the country and the world, and each of our properties are spectacular, fit very well in their environment, and I am super pumped and excited for the future here. I think, we'll look back, hindsight's 2020, we'll look back in a few years and say, wow, this is the best SouthSeas has ever been. Thank goodness Timbers came in and purchased the property. It's going to be great. I have owners that call me. Like I had Nick from Pound Ridge, New York, call me. I haven't talked to him in 2 years. He said, Michael, I haven't talked to you. What's going on? How you doing? I want to let you know that what we did buying with Timbers has been one of the greatest decisions Barb and I have ever made. Thank you. I hear that a lot. We have Timbers owners that collect Timbers properties, just like SouthSeas owners collect SouthSeas properties. And I think we have an extremely bright future here. And I'm bullish on the real estate market, Timbers and SouthSeas in general. As many of you know, our real estate office that we had previously is no longer in existence. So our office is now in Chadwick Square. We have a temporary one where the old art gallery used to be while we build out a new space next to Starbucks. So we're here to help you sell your property, buy a property, talk real estate, talk seashells or anything. We're definitely here to see you, to help. So come and see us when you're here, and we look forward to meeting everybody. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. And Michael has been a great representative of Timbers, and frankly, he's been a great advocate for owners over the years too. So I can tell you, it's not a one-sided deal. He makes sure that everybody's doing the right thing. So excited to have Michael join our team. Michael has the dubious distinction of closing on his house a couple days before the storm hit. That he had significant damage on Sanibel. So Michael's got this kind of attitude with going through a house getting rebuilt. So just wait till he gets that out of the way. He'll really be on fire. But thank you, Michael. Appreciate the comments. Next up, SouthSeas Build Back and Future Amenities. So I'm going to run through this one. There's a lot of speculation. I've heard everything from SouthSeas isn't going to build anything back until they get their way. I ironically saw a post where someone's like, and they're not going to build back the T-Dock, but it's already built back. So we just felt that it'd be good to kind of give you an idea of, what have we completed, what's ongoing, and kind of what are we planning for. So obviously the hurricane cleanup, I can tell you that we were focused really the first 90 days just trying to get the property reopened, stabilized, cleaned up. So, we did that. We removed 110 million pounds of debris, significant amount of debris. We had around 100,000 cubic yards of sand, which is a significant amount of sand. When I got out here the day after the storm, there was sand literally 2 to 3 feet deep down the whole length of the drive. So, we got that cleaned up, and that was the entire island, not just us. So, we got that fixed. I do want to point out that we've charged collectively all the associations a grand sum of $0 for all the work we did there, helping coordinate the haul off of the debris, using our marina for 45 days straight, landing barges. We gave associations fuel if they needed it, if they were in a bind. We fed some of their teams, we set up bathrooms for everyone. We did that, and we didn't charge a single penny because, frankly, the thought never crossed my mind because, we were in a hurricane, right? We were all trying to help each other out. So I do want to point that out. I think that's been lost in some of the hyperbole out there is that, we have tried to do the right thing. The Redfish Pass revetment, we did rebuild that. That was almost $3 million. We actually hardened it. Again, I heard the speculation that we tore it down. It's not true. It was destroyed by the hurricane. We'll show you pictures of it. The Land's End road repair, we repaired that. Technically, it's our road, but, it's for the benefit of Land's End. But again, we got that repaired. We've reinstalled the guardrails. We're starting to get these things back up. The marinas, both of them were destroyed from the perspective of all the infrastructure at the marina. Yeah, granted, the piers were still there, but, we had to get divers in, inspect all of the piers to make sure they weren't structurally damaged. The harbor master's house, we had to rewire all the infrastructure to both marinas so they were operable. So we got full power back, we got the fuel back, we got water back. The Bayview fishing pier was totally destroyed. We did get that back and open. And so those projects are completed. The ongoing projects, you'll see the Clutch Golf Course, the reconstruction. We'll show you a picture of that. We'll show you the Bayview pool. We'll talk about the side repair and reconditioning, and there's just the resort landscaping. We literally have to spend several $1 million just trying to get landscaping back in the resort, and it's not an insignificant project. That's going to start happening here over the coming weeks. And then as far as planned projects, we're heavily into the design process just to get reopened and get back to what we were before the storm. There's 27 to 30 different projects, depending on how you categorize them, just to get things back. I'm not talking about building a hotel back or building anything new, just to get amenities back up and operational. And then we have a handful of new ones. So we got the planned projects there on the right. Next page. So TDOC, again, that's what it looked like in May. This is what it looks like right now. So, we did get it back. What you'll see in the picture, if you went out there today, is we have it fenced off. Again, we have to get access through the pool in order for us to have the slide pool up and operational. We're routing all the work in front of on this old wedding lawn. So we'll get that done. Once that gets completed, we'll get this re-landscaped. We are going to have to demo the hotel at some point, so there will be some intermittent closures of it just because there's utility infrastructure and things that just can't be safe having people around as we're getting them rewired. But suffice to say, we want to get it up and operational as quickly as we can. Next page. So again, anybody that thought we ripped the revetment out, you can see it on the left. That's what it looked like kind of post-storm. So, we did have rocks that, we had boulders that rolled all the way almost up to Land's End. So we had a significant amount of destructive force. A lot of sand got pulled into the pass. So we had to get that done. Not only did we build it back, we actually hardened it. If you've driven across the causeway, you can see where they're putting the sheet piles to keep the water from underwashing it or overtopping it and pulling it back. So we actually armored the entire revetment. It's 2,100 linear feet, and it was a significant cost. But frankly, we did it so we don't have the same outcome on the next storm, right? So, and some people have questioned, there used to be areas where you could walk down. That was all washed out. We can't make up what the revetment looks like. This is what the state of Florida required us to build it back to. So that's just to again, deal with that wives' tale. That's what we were directed to do per the drawings from both the state of Florida and the Army Corps of Engineers. Next page. This was the road. So basically, the road was still there after the storm. What was missing is 2.5 feet of sand under the road. So basically all that got washed out. So we did have to put a temporary road. You can see in the June picture, that was a temporary road cutting across a golf course. So Land's End could still get in there. But we did get this built back. We're not 100% finished. The guardrails in. We got to come back and rock underneath that so we don't get the underwashing that we have again. We also have a permit that's pending to fix the seawall all the way from the basically from where we stopped the work on the revetment all the way over to the Bayview pool. A lot of that rock got pulled back by the waves, so we're just waiting approval now, and we'll come back and re-rock that. It's probably another $1 million to $1.5 million to get all that kind of re-hardened again from the storm. Next page. So the Clutch, that's going to be the name of our new golf course. You can start to see the golf course sod going in. So, what we did with the golf course is it's going to be the big white areas. Those are actually the greens. So they get sprigged and then they basically kind of grow in. So that's how you have to do it. So you roll sod out on the obviously on the fairways and common areas, and then the white kind of shapes without the trees in it. Those are actually the greens. Next page. So what we did with the golf course is, effectively we did a couple things. We actually we did a pretty substantial stormwater project. like for instance, that lake next to Land's End, that's true. There was a lake next to Land's End before, but its average depth was 18 inches deep. It didn't hold any water, right? That lake has a depth in the middle of it of 12 feet, right? And so we re-engineered all the lakes to be able to handle stormwater. We've elevated all the greens and tee boxes. So in a major rain event, we can hold water on the course so it can percolate. And it wasn't insignificant. There's a bunch of piping too under the ground, but we spent about an extra $2 million improving the stormwater. And we also spent another $750,000 hydrovacing out all the stormwater on the north end, so we can kind of feed into these lakes and hold the water and try to take care of some of the flooding issues that existed before. As far as the course, it will be hopefully playable by November 15th. We'll have all the grass down, weather permitting, within the next 30 days or so, but the grass has to grow in before it's playable, right? So, that's what we're targeting is hopefully Thanksgiving. We'll have the course playable. The course is meant to be a real fun course. We brought in Bo Welling Design. He's the gentleman that does all the design work for Tiger Woods Golf. He also does work for Augusta. If you've ever been to Berkman's, he did the greens around it. He does the lengthening whenever Augusta lengthens the course for the Masters. And, he's got this fun golf concept. He did the Hay at Pebble Beach. He did Little Sandy at Amelia Island. He did Glen Cove up in Highlands, Blue Jacket in Houston. And so, it's meant to be family friendly, single cut of grass, but really undulating greens for the good golfers. It will allow you to work on your short game. Next page. Again, the speculation, everybody said we mowed down all the trees. That's not true. We relocated all of the trees that survived the storm over to Wreck Island. We've been planting them back. It was about $500,000 to move them over there, about $500,000 to build them back, to move back. But what it gives us is it gives us an opportunity to have mature specimens. And I think it just is going to look more finished. The other thing that we've tried to do too is before, particularly on these timeshares, there was like a sea of trees before that you couldn't see through. So we've tried to be, obviously we need to have trees for the golf course to have interest, but around Land's End, around these units, we've tried to be purposeful about any trees closer to the buildings, making sure we don't have them in the view corridors off of the main living areas. And then, obviously when you pull back from the buildings, you get a wider perspective. So you could have a couple of different view corridors. So we're trying to be thoughtful about that. So this is actually the putting green that's going in. The area to the bottom left is actually where the clubhouse is going to go. We have a rendering of the clubhouse. Before we had an old clubhouse that was at about a 4-foot elevation, so you didn't see any of the ocean. You'll actually be able to see the ocean from this. We've sized the clubhouse way down, but we're going to have a putting green there. We're going to have an event lawn next to it, and there'll be a trolley drop off to it. And the intent is to have it just be a fun place. You could actually watch. If you don't want to go to the beach, you can watch sunset from here. We've got bathrooms. We'll have, food and beverage there. Obviously, there will be kind of little F, big B. So, heavy beverage, there'll be wraps and stuff like that, but it won't have a full kitchen. Next page. Again, this kind of shows the orientation. You can see the 12th hole ends up next to the road there. We couldn't build that while we had the temporary road, so some of that stuff is getting reworked. But again, we're excited about it. We think we'll have some killer views of both the bay and the ocean. And again, we're significantly upgrading the turf, the equipment we're going to use, and we upgraded all the new irrigation, all the drainage. So it should be a lot, a higher quality course than what we had going on before. Next page. So this is the clubhouse. Again, we didn't want to have it be a 3,000, 4,000 to 40,000 square foot clubhouse. You can get that in different variations. This thing's about 2,200 square feet. It's meant to just be a nice, fun place. We'll have seating outside. We'll have seating inside. Next page. And again, The elevation of this is at 10-foot elevation. So when you're sitting at the table, you will be able to see not just the golf course, but you'll be able to see, the Gulf of Mexico as well. And we thought that was important. We'll have swings there. The event lawn will have, cornhole, things for kids to do. So, it's a family atmosphere. The course length is going to be about 1,800 yards. It's going to be walkable. I know some people have asked for, if you're elderly or have some disabilities, of course, we'll have some ADA carts available. But the whole intent is to have it be playable in an hour and a half, hour and 15 minutes. And then, your family could stay back here if they wanted to grab a quick bite while you're playing, or, you could just hang out afterwards. And I think the sunsets from this location would be pretty incredible. Next page. That just kind of shows you what we're talking about. You can see kind of the Gulf of Mexico, whereas before you kind of looked into a side of a building from the clubhouse. There's really no place to have food and beverage. Next page. We won't be planting any live oaks, but just kind of shows that you always got to fight the render. They leave something in there for you to complain about, but anyway, you'll get a great view of the bay coming down the last several holes. The other thing we've done is we'll be broadcasting the names. We've named every individual hole, and I think we've had some fun with some of the names. So we'll have a little story on each hole about why it's named that. We're trying to reinforce some of the native species there, some of the history of the island, etc. So that'll be fun. The other thing that we're implementing is kind of these challenge coins. So if someone gets a hole in one, you'll get a coin for that hole. And we'll have that for different events as well. And it's just another way to, to just kind of collect memories, if you will, around SouthSeas. Next page. So the Bayview pool. So luckily our pool vessels did not get damaged by the storm, but we lost everything else. We had pavers pulled up. We lost all the power. We lost all of the storm water. It got inundated with sand. We basically lost a lot of different things. The tiki bar did not move an inch, so the Seminole Indians knew what they were doing when they built that sucker. But there was just a lot of other damage. So what this picture represents is we actually are increasing the amount of seating and increasing the green space just by reconfiguring the way the pool used to lay out. Because we used to have kind of an axial through it, and axial through it this way, where it was just oversized. There was no place you couldn't really put lounge chairs there because people were walking through. So we had to reconfigure it. We're getting all new pavers, all new pool equipment, all new power, all new cabanas, all new chairs. The tiki bar, it did survive. Because of the limb wall line, which is impacting our hotel, we had to move it back from the water. Frankly, I don't think that's the worst thing. I think it was great for the 16 people sitting there. They had a killer view, but everybody else was kind of looking at their backside. So we're pulling it down. We are getting rid of the fountain that was kind of just taking up space. And we're getting rid of the hot tub. Frankly, as a dad of 14 and 9-year-old girls, I kind of didn't like the vibe sometimes. It's too small, and you'd have an adult there, and you have young kids, and sometimes people might have had too much to drink, and it just kind of had not a great vibe to it. So we are doing away with that, but we've increased the infrastructure to the pool, so we'll make sure that we got the pools properly heated in the winter, so you're not having to do the run back and forth between it. And we're going to create a sitting area around the tiki bar as well. Next page. It shows you what it looks like as of this week. So we pulled all the pavers up. You can just kind of see getting some of the just patios and some of that stuff out is going to make a huge difference. I think the sight lines are going to be vastly improved. We are trying to get this done by December 17th. I hope that we can improve on that. It all depends on just some of the inspections that we have to get, but we have all the pavers purchased. We have the cabanas on site. We're ordering lounge chairs. The wild card is just some of the inspections. We have been using a third-party plan reviewer and inspector just to try to speed it up, but it is. We're at the mercy of the county reviewing some of the stuff. You can see the tiki bar. We rolled it back out of the way. Again, I've seen the comments that we destroyed it and threw it away. It's not true. We moved it back. It wasn't, frankly, permitted to be where it was at before, and it didn't have the proper drain infrastructure. So we're fixing that as well when we get it relocated on the pool deck. Next page. So the Old Point Restaurant, we're rebranding that Redfish Grill. This is a rendering, full and open disclosure on it. One thing we're still working through is the pergola up on the second level. We don't have that 100% figured out with some of the wind requirements for the county. But, suffice to say, we're going to put a significant amount of money into this. All the railings were rotted anyway, but frankly, having those heavy railings, you couldn't really see out. And then the whole interior is going to be redone. There's no more Sophie's Choice. Do you want to sit outside and bake or sit inside and, not see the water at all? So we're extending the windows down. We're getting rid of the big bar and the crazy thing inside. It's all going to be redone. We're redoing all the finishes throughout. The bathrooms were disgusting before, so we're redoing all the bathrooms. So we're going to have fresh new bathrooms. Everything's going to be touchless, so we're not getting paper towels. It's amazing that people can't seem to hit those garbage cans, but they can. So we're going to all touchless there. I think that will look a lot better. Jay, basically, we're just going to try to freshen up the whole concept. The Redfish concept is meant to be more Southwest Florida coastal cuisine. So you get your grouper sandwiches, you'll get your shrimp, you'll get your mahi-mahi, you'll get those types of things. And we also are creating gates around the pool so we can close the pools off at night and keep this open later. That was part of the challenge. People used to ask, how come this doesn't stay open later? It was a staffing issue with having to have lifeguards there. If we fence it off, we won't need to have it. So that's just kind of the rendering of that. As we get more, we'll start to flesh it out. Next page. Scoops and Slices, that building did get destroyed, but we are bringing Scoops and Slices back. It's going where the old kids camp used to be, so it will be on the backside of Redfish Grill. And we're excited to bring this back. I think it was frankly something that was a great amenity. It was great to see the families kind of socialize and roll through there. So we are getting that built back. For both Redfish Grill and Scoops and Slices, we're looking at March, April before we will have those up and operational. If we can improve on that, we will. But again, there's just a lot of permitting, a lot of things that we have to go through to get these things rebuilt. But we're excited to get both these back. Next page. Again, I mentioned that all of our buildings were destroyed, all of them. Executive office. We had major structural damage to the check-in facility where we had a lot of offices. We had offices that were out at the old employee housing. Those got destroyed. We had housekeeping buildings back by the South Marina. Those got destroyed. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to have to build a couple of new facilities. So basically this is a resort services building. This is going on the footprint where the old where there were two housekeeping buildings back by the South Marina. Instead of having carts just parked out in the open, the carts will park underneath the building. So the first floor is basically all where the carts park. We just have, control doors on there to secure them at night. And then the first habitable floor and second floor, that's where all the offices will be. So that's where, Sean's office will be. That's where engineering, security, everybody's being located into this one building. So that's where you'll go for resort services, lost and found, there's an engineering issue with your house, etc. And owner relations can't handle it. Owner relations, this building is being built specifically for that team. This will also double as check-in. I mentioned that we're trying to go mobile wireless check-in, but this building will be, if people have a problem checking in or, they have a guest coming late at night or whatnot, this is where they can go to check in. So this is where Marina's staff will be. So we'll have that. This is going where the old executive offices used to be. So right on when you get to the four-way and you turn to go to the South Marina, it'll be right there. So we had to build that infrastructure back as well. Next page. the beach house. We're very excited about the beach house. So the beach house, we did lose Attitudes and Latitudes. Those buildings were destroyed. Those buildings were non-conforming, and they were forward of the coastal control line. So there was no opportunity to build those buildings back. So what we have decided to do, if you know where the old volleyball courts were, this is where we're building this structure. So the beach house will be, I think, a great amenity. No longer will the Mucky Duck be the only place on Captiva that you can have oceanfront dining. So, this will have doors that roll up when it's temperate. It's been pretty hot out there the last couple of weeks, so the doors will be down. The glass will have turtle glass, so we can operate at night, not impact our turtle friends on the beach. And, it will have a bar inside of it. We'll have outdoor dining as well, so you can sit inside, you can sit outside, and basically you'll have a view kind of across where Attitudes and Latitudes used to be out to the ocean. So, we're really excited about this. This beach house is going to have, the cuisine's going to be more Gulf Coast inspired. So you will have touches of Florida, but you might get Louisiana, Texas, Mexico with, ceviche and fish tacos and things of that nature. So it's meant to be just a fun place to eat, to dine. You can watch sunsets, either before or after you're done. We're just excited about this. So this is an amenity that we're planning on building. That's the other thing people have said. Oh, they're not going to build anything until they get their way. Everything I've shown you so far is going to be built irrespective of what's happening with the land development code issues, because frankly, these are the amenities that we feel like we need to build. Next page. This just shows the kind of the orientation. So there's the pedestrian walk there. Again, renderers use some creative license, but you see the people walking to the beach. That is the existing pedestrian access, so no one's taking that away. We will have the 2 bathrooms that exist out there, but these bathrooms up here will actually be air conditioned. So I know for people that are finicky on smell, you can walk up to use these bathrooms. No matter how much you try to control the smell in an outdoor bathroom, it's still an outdoor bathroom. So we're excited about the beach house. Will be a trolley stop. Everything that we're adding, we're really trying to encourage trolley use. We had 4 trolleys before the storm. A couple of them got damaged, but we're going to add them back. Next page. So Captiva Landing. I know this caught a lot of, created a little mini firestorm before. Full and open disclosure, the slides are not the colors on the right. I know everybody's going to panic about that. It's just so when you're looking at it in plan, you can distinguish between the different slides. So don't everybody go posting that. They're going to have red slides and polka dot slides. It just, you can see the picture on the left. You can't really see what slide's what. So this helps you in plan when we're working through it. But we are going to have the slide structure. I'll show you what it looks like. We got the feedback from people. We've toned it down, but we're going to have the slide structure. It's really meant to be for kids kind of up to that 12 to 14-year-old age group, right? So you can have the little ones sitting in the water splashing. There's a little kid zone, and then there's kind of the older kids. The lazy river, that lazy river will be just another fun feature. You can just sit on the floats and float around if you want. You don't have to be on floats. You can just walk around. But it's meant to just be, again, another place to cool down. That island will be sand, so it'll be pretty cool to be able to get your feet in the sand, even if you're not quite at the beach. And then the pool up to the upper left is the kind of, I'll call it the quiet pool. I don't want to call it the adult pool, but there'll be ledge seating around the perimeter of the pool. So you can sit in the water, have a drink, etc. We had a bigger pool before, but we are dealing with hydrodynamics of some of these areas. So we had to address some of that, so that one pool had to get a little smaller. But this is, I'm 99% sure that this is what it's going to loosely look like. I jump back one page. I do want to point out that the buildings there, so we'll have, this is where we're relocating the kids camp. Kids camp will be called Camptiva. We're excited to get that going. We are going to locate the arcade here as well. And then we're going to have a restaurant. It's called Flippers. It's going to be more Americana, burgers, grilled chicken, salads, those kind of things. But that will be open at night. You can see the two little red dashes, if you will, on the walkways to the pools. That will be fenced off, so at night we can keep this open. And I think this is a much needed amenity. Frankly, 61% of all the units are at the south end, and there's never been an amenity for them. So we're excited about this. This is about a $20 million investment right here, and I think it's going to be a really beneficial to the folks that are at Bayside, at tennis villas, at beach villas, and beach cottages to have this amenity kind of within walking distance, if you will. Next page. This shows kind of what the slide is. So look, we heard you. We're still making adjustments, but we took a bunch of the animal theming off. I frankly think it was not the right decision, but hopefully people will see. We just on the covers, we made them look like our umbrellas and our logo. Again, this isn't meant, I'll go down it. I don't have a problem going down it, but it's really oriented towards kids. We're trying to make it fun and playful for kids. So there'll be water sprinklers in the water. There's a bunch of things that twirl around on the structure. So it's a very wet structure, and it's just meant to be a fun place for kids. And now on Captiva Landing, I do want to point out that we are going to be held up until we get some direction on the LDC on building this, because frankly, we will need the land depending upon what happens with the height on this. So this is the only thing that I've shown you that this and the thing coming up next are the two things that are kind of held until we get some clear direction from the county. Next page. This is a terrible rendering. I'm sorry I don't have a better one where you're looking through the perspectives, but where the east lawn is, we do want to put, frankly, a proper resort spa and fitness center. Having it in the corner of a retail village is, in my mind, is not the right resort spa experience. So, we're going to be adding this back. We're excited about this. So we're going to kill a couple birds with one stone. We're going to have, much nicer bathrooms than you would typically have in a spa, although they're pretty nice. So our marina guests can use it. We'll have 6 to 8 spa treatment rooms. We'll have a traditional gym with free weights and cardio. What this is showing you is the second level. So we want to put a rooftop kind of workout area where we'll have motion studio on one side. We'll have a cardio studio on the other side. Those doors can roll up when it's more temperate. And then you have the lawn area, elevated artificial turf, the elevated artificial turf where you could do F45, you can do morning yoga on the sunrise, you can do CrossFit, and it's just an opportunity to have some different programming. We'll have a small salon in there, mani-pedis, you'll be able to get all that stuff done, be able to get some of the juices and kind of help oriented drinks as well. But again, this one is going to be held up until we can figure out what we're doing. So just to kind of summarize, golf course will be hopefully playable by Thanksgiving. The slide pool hopefully by next Friday, if not shortly thereafter. We'll have the Bayview pool will be online by middle of December. We'll have Scoops and Slices and Redfish online by March, April. Harborside, we're going to make that an Italian themed restaurant. Harborside will lag a little bit, probably by the June timeframe before we can get Harborside back up and operational. The beach house, hopefully that will be completed sometime in 2024, probably fall of 2024 to get that dining up. The buildings that we have to build back will be around May, June of 2024. That's when we'll have the resort services building. That's when we'll have marinas on the relations offices back open. We are going to slowly add retail back to the retail center. as we can get some of our staff relocated out of there. So we have some pretty fun plans on that. The provision store up there should be open hopefully by the March, April timeframe as well. And then, for the Captiva Landing and the resort spa and fitness, that's kind of a little TBD right now. Captiva Landing, our goal would be to have that operational by early 2025. But if we get delayed on decisions, it's just going to push that back. And then, frankly, to get we're probably talking end of 2025, early 2026 on the resort spa and fitness center. There's some major infrastructure that runs through there, power for the marinas that we have to relocate. So that one's a little bit more complicated. So that's the gist of what we're doing. Again, we're going to start to have these monthly. So, we'll, as we know more, get firmer dates, get better renderings, can start to show you interiors and stuff, we'll do it. We're still, working through just trying to get permit sets in and things approved from the county. But, I think as Michael kind of shared, we're really excited about the future. Hopefully you see that the investment that we're making, it's real. It's not phantom investment. Just on amenities, we're spending $50 to $60 million of investment, and that doesn't handle any of the build back stuff. I'm talking offices and things of that nature. Between the offices to clean up, re-landscaping, signage, revetment, seawalls, marinas, that's probably another $50 million that we're spending. And then, when we get some clear direction on hotels, etc., we have significant more dollars that we're planning on spending. So that's the gist of it. I do want to tell you that, all those amenities that we're showing will only be accessible by folks that are Club Captiva members. So, we are going to start cracking down on that. So more to come. Probably the next call we'll be able to provide some detail on that. But look, it's a free country. You're free to rent who you want to. We don't have a problem with that. But, frankly, there's a significant investment being made in not just the current amenities, but new amenities. And, there's a significant operational expense related to that as well. So, I do think that we'll have real value behind our rental program. And, hopefully people will see that as well. But we're excited about the future. And, I think it's as much as it sucked to be hit by a hurricane and everything we had to go through, I think, we'll be stronger for it in the long term. So appreciate everybody's time. I know there was a couple of questions related to, is there parking next to the new water feature? I showed that we will have parking. We have our parking at our conference center. Our conference center is uninsurable, and it suffered about $5 million worth of damage to it. So at some point in time, we will have to take the conference center down just because we can't have uninsured structures remaining just from more with our lenders. So, we don't know exactly what we're doing with that area yet. But that is the conference center is not going to be coming back online. We are going to be adding a wedding tent, and we'll have to do that temporarily until we can figure out what's going on with our hotel. And so we're working on the location of that right now. We did build a wedding venue out the end of the golf course, so we rebuilt that. So there are things like that will be forthcoming. The other thing at Bayside Marina, someone asked about programming at Bayside Marina. So, we do want to rebrand that kind of Bayside Marina as being part of Captiva Landing. Definitely if we have the kids there, that's where we can move them over and do things like the water sport activity. We're talking with a group called Red about coming on board to run our water sports, meaning, the jet skis, the paddleboard rentals, all that. We really want to try to make it a little bit more eco-focused versus just having random people zipping up and down the beach. So, we want to make it on jet skis. So we want to make it a little bit more impactful. So we're working through that programming right now. We are going to get a facility built back at that marina. So that building got destroyed as well. So we're working through the plans on how quickly we can get something back operational there. And then, frankly, we plan on reactivating that whole space. And I think that will definitely take on a life of its own when Captiva Landing kind of gets reactivated as well. Someone asked about carts. Why are we restricting people from taking carts out on the beach? It's not us. It's the state of Florida. We don't own the beach. That was a bone of contention with the state. So there will be no golf cart access out to the beach. So that's just, it is what it is. It's restricted. We will have, we do have the jogging path. We built that back, so you'll be able to jog along the beach and along the way. It's still blocked off because we still have it under construction, but we'll get that reactivated. Bikes you can take out there, strollers, but you won't be able to take any golf carts out there. And again, we want to try to encourage the trolleys. Someone asked the question, I heard you're moving to electric carts. How is that going to be handled from a charging infrastructure? Great question. We are going to be redoing the cart parking that existed out at the north end of the property. We will be putting charging portals in there. All those parking is going to be gate controlled. So you'll have to be, in one of our carts with a transponder, or either in the Club Captiva program to be able to park carts there. And we're going to have charging infrastructure there. We'll have charging infrastructure next to Starbucks, adjacent to Chadwick's. You'll actually pull in the old Sunny Island lot, but we're working through the plans right now, and we'll have other spots around the resort where you can charge the carts. So we plan on doing that. And then someone asked about the beach, the condition of the beach. Look, I think Bob's worked with CEPD. They've raked the beach. We've tried to clean up as much debris as we have. We brought in, forget what the name of the machine is, but a machine that picks up roof nails. We've been running that around not just our properties, but around some of the associations, because they were, I went out here after the storm and I'd have 6 or 7 roof nails in my shoes after just walking around for 10 minutes. So we have been sweeping that to try to get the debris up. It's magnetized. So, I can tell you the beaches look 1,000% better than they did immediately after the storm. So we're just trying to get that reactivated. We are putting chairs out there. We have invested in some new vehicles to be able to get the chairs pulled back and forth faster, so you don't hear that little electric cart running back and forth. Someone asked about the team. How fast can you fully rehire all the SouthSeas team? The